The ruins of Xylan Station hung in the blackness of space like a ghost frozen in time. Massive towers, once shining with energy, now stood broken and silent. Alien scholars called it the lost jewel of the Xylan, a civilization that had vanished centuries ago. Their ships hovered around the wreckage, scanners glowing, analyzing every crack and corroded panel. Professor Takral, a tall, silver-skinned alien with elongated eyes, shook his head. It is pointless. The Xylan language has no living speakers. All we have are fragments. Nothing will answer us. The system is dead. His voice was soft but firm, a note of finality that left no room for hope. Beside him, a small group of aliens murmured agreements. They had studied the language for decades. They knew the signs, the symbols, the patterns, but it was all just history, a record with no life in it. Then came the human. Alex Harper stepped out of the shuttle with a casual confidence. He was average in height, with messy brown hair and eyes that always seemed curious. He wore a worn jacket with a dozen patches from different space missions, and his boots kicked up floating dust as he moved. "I heard you're looking for speakers of a dead language," Alex said, smiling. "Mind if I take a look?" The aliens froze. The professor arched a brow. "A human? You know nothing of Xylan. This is advanced linguistics and ancient syntax. You will accomplish nothing." Alex grinned. "Well, maybe. Or maybe I will." He stepped closer to a wall covered in glowing Xylan inscriptions. The alien scholars exchanged skeptical looks. To them, humans were loud, impulsive, and rarely useful in serious research. But Alex didn't care. He crouched and studied the symbols with his fingers tracing the grooves. The wall pulsed faintly as if reacting to his touch. "What are you doing?" a young alien asked. "Talking," Alex said simply. The alien blinked. "Talking? You cannot speak Xylan, it is dead. No human could—" Alex cut him off with a shrug. "Maybe I can." Then he leaned forward and began to speak in a low melodic tone. The words were strange, alien to the ears of everyone around him, yet there was a rhythm, a flow, almost musical. The wall shimmered. Tiny lights flickered on the panels. One by one, hidden mechanisms stirred. Dust fell as a hidden door slid open. A holographic map floated up from the floor, projecting the ruins in incredible detail. Ancient Xylan machines, long silent, powered up with soft hums. The aliens gasped. The professor's eyes widened. "Impossible," he whispered. "A human? Activating Xylan technology?" Alex didn't stop. He continued speaking, the words weaving together like threads of energy. Machines lit up, doors opened, and panels unfolded to reveal inner chambers. The human moved through them as if he had always known where to go. You speak it?" one alien stammered. Alex paused and looked at them. "I don't just speak it. I understand it." The aliens stared in disbelief. They had spent decades learning from texts, recordings, and fragmented dictionaries, yet none of their efforts had worked, and here was a human who had arrived like a curious tourist, unlocking secrets they thought lost forever. Professor Tikral stepped forward, cautiously. How do you know the words?" Alex shrugged again. "I listen. Languages have patterns, right? Music, rhythm, structure. You follow it and it starts to make sense. Some languages, they just choose their speakers." The aliens exchanged glances. Some were excited, some fearful. If humans could speak a dead language, it meant they could access knowledge and technology thought lost to time. It meant that the future was suddenly unpredictable. Alex led the group deeper into the station. Panels slid away to reveal hidden archives, chambers filled with dormant machines and holographic libraries of Xylan knowledge. Each step he took seemed to awaken the station, and the human's casual confidence was magnetic. "This is incredible," muttered one alien. "All our records. But how did a human even—" Alex smiled, not answering. Instead, he moved toward a console that had remained silent for centuries. He spoke a series of commands in the Xylan language. The screen flickered and came alive, revealing star maps, technology schematics, and energy blueprints. Aliens crowded around, trying to read the data. But Alex's presence made it more than information. It was comprehension. The station recognized him as someone who could understand it, not just as a visitor. Professor Tikral's voice was quieter now, filled with awe. This is beyond anything we expected. How can a human— Don't ask how," Alex said with a grin. "Just watch." As he spoke, a series of doors opened further inside the station. Hidden elevators descended into deeper levels. Alex led the way, stepping carefully yet confidently. The air smelled faintly of ozone and old metal, and the walls pulsed with residual energy. "This is alive," whispered one of the younger alien scholars. "Not alive," Alex said. "It's waiting. Just like a puzzle." "Some puzzles need the right mind to solve them," the professor frowned. "And you are someone who doesn't know the word impossible," Alex replied lightly. By the time they reached the central chamber, the aliens were no longer skeptical. They were in awe. The walls of the chamber were covered in glowing inscriptions and moving diagrams. Machines hummed softly as if responding to Alex's presence. He approached a pedestal with a crystal interface. As he spoke the Xylan words, the crystal lit up, projecting a three-dimensional map of nearby star systems. The aliens gasped again. No one had seen such clarity, such precision. This station, Alex said, was not just a ruin. It was a message waiting for someone who could read it. And apparently, that someone is me. The professor shook his head, still trying to understand. "This defies everything. Humans, you are the first to do this in centuries. You bring a dead language back to life." Alex shrugged and grinned. "I didn't bring it back. I just spoke it. Languages aren't dead. They're waiting for someone curious enough to try." Outside, the alien ships hovered, unaware that history was being rewritten inside Xylan Station. The galaxy had always believed that humans were simple, reckless, and unpredictable. And in this moment, Alex Harper proved that unpredictability could be a force no one had expected. The machines of the Xylan Station hummed louder, lights pulsing like a heartbeat. Alex turned to the aliens. "Ready to see what else this language can do?" he asked. The aliens looked at one another, hesitant, amazed, and a little afraid. "Yes. But we must proceed carefully," Professor Takral said. Alex just laughed lightly. "Careful is fine. But don't be surprised if humans change everything along the way." And with that, the first step into rediscovering the lost wonders of Xylan had begun. The deeper chambers of Xylan Station were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Towers of crystal hummed softly, feeding energy into long dormant machines. Holographic symbols rotated in the air, forming patterns that no scholar had ever fully decoded. Yet for Alex Harper, it all seemed natural. "Follow me," he said casually, stepping over a glowing energy conduit. "Don't touch anything unless I tell you." The alien scholars and engineers trailed behind, unsure whether to trust him. Some whispered to each other, trying to make sense of what they had already witnessed. They had expected to find relics, records, maybe some ancient storage, but not a human commanding the station with a language they believed dead. Professor Takral approached Alex cautiously. How do you know which systems to activate? We can barely read the inscriptions, let alone operate the mechanisms." Alex smiled. "It's about listening, not reading. These systems respond to more than commands. They respond to understanding. I don't just speak Xylan. I hear it." He walked to a large console embedded in the floor. Panels shifted and rearranged themselves under his guidance, revealing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy, dotted with ancient Xylan installations. He pointed at one. "See this? They built stations like this across many systems. All connected, all waiting." A younger alien, Talar, gasped. "Connected? Across light years?" "Exactly," Alex said. "And most of you have been trying to decode one system at a time." But Xylan thought bigger. They left instructions in the language itself if you could speak it. The aliens exchanged odd glances. None of their simulations or AI translators had ever revealed the full complexity of these networks. They had assumed the Xylan systems were fractured, unrepairable, and yet Alex was proving that one human could do what they could not. Moving deeper, Alex entered a chamber filled with towering machines that seemed alive. Crystalline conduits pulsed with energy, and holographic glyphs danced across the walls. "These," he said, gesturing, "were once defense systems. They protected the Xylan from enemies we don't even know existed. But now, they're ours to understand." Professor Takral frowned. "Ours?" Alex shrugged. "I don't mean attack anyone, I mean learn. Understand. Humans have a habit of turning old tech into new possibilities." Alex approached one of the massive consoles and began speaking in the Xylan language again. Words flowed like water, forming patterns in the air. The machines responded, Doors opened to reveal hidden archives and storage units slid out, exposing ancient tools and devices. A soft light illuminated diagrams of starship designs, energy systems, and transportation methods the galaxy had long thought impossible. The aliens could only watch, wide-eyed. The knowledge was staggering. Ships faster than any currently in service, energy sources more efficient than their most advanced reactors, even devices that could manipulate gravity in controlled ways. "This is incredible," Talar said. "How can a human just command this?" Alex chuckled. "Humans are good at problem solving, and sometimes we just ignore the rules that say something is impossible." For the next hours, Alex guided the aliens through one system after another. Each chamber, each console, each crystal network revealed secrets that had been silent for centuries. The station seemed to recognize him, almost as if the language itself was responding to his presence. At one point, they entered a chamber with a massive holographic model of a Zillan city. It stretched across the room, buildings rising and falling in ghostly light. Alex walked through the city as if he were stepping along the streets. These buildings, he said, pointing to floating towers, were designed for people who could communicate through thought and sound. But they left clues for anyone clever enough to figure them out. Patterns, frequencies, resonances, all in the language. Professor Takral could barely contain his excitement. You can read the city itself?" Alex nodded. "Not just read, understand. Languages can be instructions. And Xylan, they were clever. They left the instructions for someone persistent, someone willing to listen." The aliens began to see humans in a new light. They had always considered humans impulsive, reckless, and unpredictable. But now that unpredictability was a gift. Alex's willingness to try to experiment, to approach the ruins with curiosity instead of fear, was unlocking possibilities they had never imagined. Hours passed, and Alex finally stopped at the central core of the station. The room pulsed with energy, a network of circuits connecting every part of Xylan's technology. "This is the heart," Alex said. "Everything else flows from here, and if we understand it, we can connect all Xylan systems across the galaxy." The aliens shivered at the thought. The implications were enormous. Humanity could now access knowledge and technology that even the most advanced alien civilizations had thought lost. Professor Takral stepped forward, a note of admiration in his voice. "Humans, perhaps you were meant to be more than we imagined. Not just explorers, but masters of the forgotten." Alex laughed lightly. "Masters? Maybe, but mostly curious humans who like to see what happens if you just try." Then, a sudden alert flashed across the central console. A message encoded in Xylan appeared. Warnings about dormant security systems in another sector. Alex's eyes lit up. "Looks like someone left traps. Nothing deadly, I hope. Just puzzles," he said with a grin. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. Traps, puzzles, unknown security systems. They had assumed that Alex's human confidence would falter here. But he merely said, "Hold my beer," and walked toward the chamber. Minutes later, he returned with panels of data and a satisfied grin. "All secure. Just a logic sequence. Nothing a human brain can't figure out." The aliens couldn't help but admire him. Where they had seen dead technology, Alex saw challenges. Where they had seen barriers, Alex saw opportunity. By the time the sun of a nearby star reflected off the station's hull, Alex had unlocked more secrets than any single team of aliens could have imagined in a century. He had turned a silent, forgotten ruin into a place of knowledge, a beacon of possibility for the entire galaxy. As he leaned back against a glowing crystal pillar, he looked at the alien scholars. "So, who wants to see what else humans can do?" Professor Takral smiled faintly, a mix of pride and astonishment. "It seems we have much to learn from you, Alex Harper." "Much indeed." Alex grinned, eyes twinkling with mischief. "Good, because we've only just started." The Xylan station hummed like a living thing, awakened by a human voice. And somewhere deep inside, ancient machines seemed to acknowledge a truth that no one had realized before. Human curiosity could bridge time, language, and even civilizations. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. News of Alex Harper, the human who could speak the dead Xylan language, spread faster than any warp transmission. Alien scholars, governments, and explorers whispered his name with a mixture of awe, curiosity, and a hint of fear. Humans, they realized, were unpredictable, but brilliant. Inside Xylan Station, Alex walked through the central chamber, now humming with energy from countless devices he had activated. Alien scholars followed closely, notebooks and datapads in hand, but they no longer doubted his abilities. Each system he touched, each machine he spoke to seemed to awaken not just technology but history itself. Professor Takral approached him, eyes wide with wonder. "Alex, you have done what no one else could." The Xylan left warnings, puzzles, even traps. "And yet you have unlocked their knowledge. Why, how?" Alex shrugged, a faint smile on his face. "I don't see it as impossible. The Xylan left a language, sure, but I treat it like a puzzle, like music. You listen, feel the rhythm, and suddenly, it starts to make sense. I'm just doing what humans do best. Learning, adapting, and trying things no one else dares to." The aliens nodded, realizing the truth in his words. Humans were not just clever, they were fearless in ways other species rarely were. Their unpredictability was a strength, their curiosity an unmatched power. As they walked, Alex paused at a massive console that projected a holographic star map. Dozens of Xylan outposts lit up, connected by pulsing lines of energy. "Look at this," he said. "All of these systems were designed to communicate." The Xylan believed in sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. "And now, we can continue their work," one young alien scholar gasped. You can connect all the Xylan systems?" "Across the galaxy?" Alex grinned. "Not just connect, understand, control, safely, of course. But the possibilities are endless." Outside the station, alien ships began to arrive, drawn by the energy signatures and news of the human who had revived a dead language. Delegates from multiple star systems requested an audience with Alex. They wanted guidance, answers, and a chance to witness firsthand what humans could achieve. Alex didn't seek power, but he understood influence. He invited the aliens inside, showing them the Xylan technologies in action. Ships that had been dormant for centuries lifted into orbit under his control. Energy systems hummed with efficiency no contemporary engineer had thought possible. Holographic archives revealed not just technology, but the history, philosophy, and culture of a civilization long gone. The aliens watched in amazement as humans, small and seemingly fragile, moved through the chamber, activating devices with a combination of intuition and logic. Alex explained, "The Xylan didn't leave instructions for just anyone. They left them for someone curious, persistent, and willing to learn. That someone happened to be human." Professor Tikral shook his head, a smile spreading across his face. "Your species. You are full of surprises. I had always underestimated humans." Alex chuckled. "You're not alone. Most species do." Hours passed as they explored the station together. Every corner revealed new secrets. Transportation systems that bent space to reduce travel time. Energy devices that could power entire planets sustainably. And libraries that stored knowledge in crystalline structures capable of retaining information for millennia. And then, Alex found a small chamber tucked away, almost invisible. Its walls were etched with Xylan inscriptions unlike any he had seen. He placed a hand on the surface and a holographic figure emerged, a recording of a Xylan elder speaking in a soft, melodic tone. "Who speaks?" the figure asked. Alex smiled, stepping forward. "A human. I can understand your language." The hologram paused, then seemed to relax. You are the one we predicted. The species that would inherit our knowledge not by conquest but by understanding. You are clever, curious, and brave. Use what we have left wisely." Alex turned to the aliens behind him. They left this for someone who could understand, not someone who would misuse it. The Xylan trusted a human. That says something. One alien whispered, "Perhaps humans were always meant for this." Alex grinned. "Maybe, but we'll need to prove it every day. Learning is only part of it. Using it wisely, that's the hard part." Over the next weeks, Alex worked with humans and aliens alike to connect Xylan systems across multiple star systems. Trade routes became faster and safer. Scientific knowledge, long thought lost, was revived. Energy grids reached planets that had struggled for centuries. Humanity was no longer just explorers. They were connectors, teachers, and innovators on a galactic scale. The human touch, the human curiosity, changed the perception of the species across the galaxy. Where aliens had once seen humans as reckless or primitive, they now saw them as problem solvers, capable of turning challenges into opportunities. One evening, After activating another Xylan archive, Alex gathered a group of young human explorers. "Remember this," he said. "Curiosity, courage, and a willingness to try things no one else dares. Those are your tools. You don't need to be the strongest or the fastest. You need to be the one who thinks differently." A young recruit asked, "Will we ever stop discovering?" Alex laughed. "Not as long as we keep listening. The universe has plenty of puzzles, plenty of languages waiting to be understood. And humans? We never stop trying." Back in the wider galaxy, alien civilizations adjusted to the new reality. Humans were no longer just another species. They were leaders in knowledge, collaboration, and innovation. They did not conquer with weapons or dominance. They conquered with intelligence, curiosity, and an unyielding drive to explore and understand. Professor Takral looked at Alex one last time before leaving the station. "Your species. You are remarkable. The galaxy underestimated you. Perhaps we were wrong to doubt humans," Alex smirked. "Doubt is easy, surprise, that's harder. And humans? We love surprising everyone." As ships departed, carrying messages of peace, knowledge, and cooperation, Alex stood at the heart of Xylan Station. The machines pulsed with life, the crystal conduits glowed brighter than ever, and the words of the ancient Xylan echoed faintly in the air. And Alex whispered, almost to himself, "Hold my beer," before speaking another dead language, hinting that the galaxy's mysteries were far from over. The stars stretched endlessly before him, and for the first time, the universe seemed smaller, more connected, and full of possibilities. A single human had not only revived a dead language but had also reminded the galaxy that curiosity, courage, and ingenuity could shape civilizations. The Xylan had waited for the right speaker. The galaxy had waited for the right species, and humanity had arrived.